Carlos Sainz must be sick of living in the shadows of drivers he is equal to. At McLaren, the lovable Lando was clearly the star of the show. Being the McLaren golden boy, this is understandable, but being snubbed out by a Daniel Ricciardo who, while showing promise at Renault, showed no discernible benefit over Sainz other than being the drive to survive sweetheart and race winner in years gone by, must have been a real kick in the teeth. Then at Ferrari, despite beating Leclerc in his first season with the team and not exactly being blown out the water by Ferrari's golden boy, who was well cemented into the team at this point for the following seasons. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, Carlos Sainz is a talent that every team on the grid could utilize and improve with. Consistency, experience, and a ruthless passion towards his drives, he really is the complete package, and with a couple of race wins already to his name, Sainz will be looking to put himself in the best possible seat to enact revenge on the family who didn't want him as much as he wanted them. So where will this seat be? Well, there have been a few indications recently that Carlos will have a difficult choice to make, but the worry is that if nothing aligns, the sport could be losing out on one of the best drivers on the grid. Want to know why the news coming from some of the teams points towards Sainz having a tough decision to make? It could all just pass him by if he's not careful, however he will be hoping to do his talking on the track, and stick around because Sainz may have let slip where he's hoping to land next year, and it's not where we were expecting. If there is one thing that Carlos Sainz has made clear about this season, it's that the gloves are off. If he's got an expiry date at the team, one set for the end of the season, then he aims to make Ferrari rue the day that they chose Lewis Hamilton over him. Of course, he's going to go about it in a typical Carlos fashion, with the smooth operator maintaining his professional approach to the team. In fact, nothing about his approach is changing at all, as Carlos plans to move forward as normal up until his departure from the team. However, he has made his intentions clear moving into the 2024 season. I think the amount of pressure I will put in myself, in the team and my engineers and everyone involved, I think it will be exactly the same. The hunger to win races, the hunger to become champions doesn't change just because of what's happening in 2025. We all have the same objective, we all have the same ambitions this year, and the fact that I'm not going to be at Scuderia Ferrari in 2025 doesn't mean that we don't want to become champions together this year or win races this year. So I think it's going to be exactly the same. If anything, I can focus even more knowing in the present and then focus on the race by race, making sure I have the best possible car and feeling underneath me and not having to focus so much in development and in the future. So perhaps having an expiry date will give Sainz a there is nothing left to lose approach that will add freedom and a lethal edge to his drives that will lead him to claiming even more victories this year to add to his Silverstone and Singapore victories with the Scuderia. That doesn't mean, however, he is just going to disregard those around him, as the Spanish driver will be looking to place himself in the shop window in the most positive way possible, as someone that not only extracts the most out of the car, but will also push the other driver in the team to either beat his high standards or help him achieve what he believes he is capable of. When asked if he will help Leclerc win the title in 2024, Sainz bit back with an acknowledgement of his professional approach, while also maintaining that he isn't just going to be a player too in the upcoming season. Of course, I've always been a team player. Everything I've done in Formula 1, I think I've been a great team player. I've always been exemplary in that sense as a driver for any team. I will definitely help Charles if I have to, the same way I expect him to help me if I fight for a world championship myself too. So Sainz will push himself, the team and Leclerc as far as he can this year, but the next year is an unknown entity for Carlos, a driver who typically likes to know where he is racing next year before the season starts. Team boss Fred Vasseur acknowledged that ultimately Sainz is a fantastic driver, and will be a fantastic addition to any other team. The issue is that Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion and car setup maestro, as well as long-time Ferrari flirter and disciple of Vasseur in the junior days, was available and enthusiastic to finally make the move to red. In Vasseur's words, "Because I think for the team the opportunity of signing Lewis is something you have to consider in any case. He's the guy with the biggest experience and it's a huge opportunity for us. It has nothing to do with Carlos. Carlos did a great job last year and I'm sure he'll do a great job this year, but he's very professional and we have a very good personal relationship." So just who will capitalize on one of the sport's most talented yet perennially underrated drivers being available? Well, the main thing for Sainz is that he isn't going to settle for anything less than the stability and working environment he believed he had with Ferrari, with the Spanish driver saying, I'm not going to lie, there are important years ahead of me now. I want to find, like I did in Ferrari, a good stability, a good environment to work in, and I'm going to take my time and listen to all the options and pick the best possible option to be happy, but also be competitive and be winning as soon as possible again. I am approaching the most important 3 or 4 years of my career, and I want to make sure I am in the right place. So, despite all the hearsay and rumours pointing towards Sainz signing up, Audi is out of the question. A lack of ambition, a mass exodus at the top of the team with Oliver Hoffmann, and the man who got Audi interested in F1 in the first place, Marcus Duisman, heading for the exit. All signs point towards Audi being dead before even arriving. It really does appear that in an attempt to whore out company names instead of siding with teams who show legitimate ambition and drive, F1 have sided with the wrong approach by accepting the already stumbling Audi and snubbing the Andretti project. So despite what all the pundits who are weeks behind the curve will tell you, the real prospects for Sainz are far bigger fish than Audi, with Sainz having close ties to more than just the German automaker. One such close ties where he entered into Formula 1 in the first place, Red Bull, and with Helmut Marko piling on the pressure to all the current drivers without a world championship, it's clear that if the current roster does not perform to the standards set for them, the team may well have to look elsewhere, with Marko saying, "Perez still has a contract for 2024. That's up to him. If he performs in the same form as how he finished the last few races, then we can easily talk about a further extension. Ricciardo needs to show that he can clearly compete with Tsunoda, then he might be a candidate." And with Sainz's father being seen talking with the Red Bull advisor recently, speculation began to surface about Sainz moving back in with the team that brought him into the sport in the first place. However, he would also indicate the fact that he's leaving his options open for other top teams, saying, "If you saw my dad went to say hello to Helmut Marko, you need to remember that he's got a great relationship with him. In the same way, we have a good relationship with Toto Wolff." It seems that the opening rounds will be crucial for all parties involved, and with other names being thrown into the hat with top teams, such as another Red Bull reject and Mercedes-affiliated driver, Alex Albon, time will tell just how the grid will line up in the approach to the new regulations. For the time being, the best thing that Carlos can do is exactly what he's setting out to do: finish his tenure at Ferrari in the most positive way possible and make himself an irresistible prospect for other onlooking teams in need of a bit of class. What do you think about Sainz at either of these teams? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. In our opinion, we think Sainz would see a better opportunity of being able to take the charge and push for titles with Mercedes, given Max is unlikely to be moved off the top spot at Red Bull and George is far less of a final product. While we do think George is capable of great things, Mercedes seems to be far more balanced in its approach to drivers than their Milton Keynes rivals, giving Sainz more of an opportunity to make his mark. But hey, that's just our opinion. Be sure to let us know yours in the comments below. Thank you for watching.